Hatred is a complex and deeply human emotion, one that reflects not only on the person being hated, but also on the individual who harbors such feelings. At its core, hatred is often a response to experiences, perceptions, and emotions that are deeply personal. It is rarely as simple as one person being entirely at fault or another entirely justified in their dislike. Instead, hatred often tells the story of misunderstandings, unmet expectations, and unresolved conflicts that can define relationships and perceptions. When someone expresses hatred towards another, it is often a projection of their inner struggles. People are shaped by their experiences, insecurities, and frustrations, and these emotions influence how they perceive others. For example, someone who feels inadequate may view a confident person as arrogant or threatening, even if that confidence is well-earned and not intended to diminish anyone else. In such cases, the hatred may have less to do with the confident individual and more with the insecurities of the person harboring resentment. This reveals how hatred can act as a mirror, reflecting the vulnerabilities and emotional wounds of the hater. On the other hand, the person being hated is not always blameless. Our actions, words, and attitudes significantly impact how others perceive us. Sometimes, we may inadvertently hurt others or project qualities that are misinterpreted. For example, someone who is highly ambitious and vocal about their achievements might be seen as boastful, even if their intent is simply to share their accomplishments. Similarly, someone who prioritizes their own needs over others might be perceived as selfish, even if they are simply setting healthy boundaries. These perceptions, whether accurate or not, can give rise to animosity and resentment. Hatred also thrives in the absence of understanding. People often fear or dislike what they do not understand, and this lack of understanding can lead to judgment. Cultural differences, opposing viewpoints, or lifestyle choices that deviate from the norm can all become reasons for people to harbor negative feelings. This is why communication and empathy are so crucial in relationships. When people take the time to understand one another's perspectives, the potential for hatred diminishes. It becomes easier to see that differences are not necessarily threats, and misunderstandings can be resolved through dialogue and compassion. However, not all hatred stems from misunderstandings. In some cases, hatred is a response to genuine harm or injustice. If someone has been wronged, betrayed, or hurt, their feelings of hatred may feel justified. Yet even in these scenarios, the hatred they carry is not solely about the person who caused the harm. It also reflects the pain, disappointment, or fear they feel as a result. Holding on to hatred in these cases can be emotionally taxing, acting as a barrier to healing and personal growth. Letting go of hatred is not about excusing harmful behavior, but about freeing oneself from the emotional burden it imposes. The reciprocal nature of hatred highlights the importance of self-awareness. When you find yourself disliking someone, it is worth asking why. Is your dislike rooted in their actions, or is it a reflection of your own feelings and experiences? Similarly, if you sense that someone hates you, consider how your behavior might have contributed to their perception. While you cannot control how others feel, you can strive to act with kindness and integrity, reducing the likelihood of unnecessary conflicts. Ultimately, hatred is a shared experience, one that says as much about the person feeling it as it does about the person it is directed towards. It is a reminder of our shared humanity, our struggles, our flaws, and our capacity for both misunderstanding and growth. By seeking understanding, practicing empathy, and addressing our own emotions, we can break the cycle of hatred and build connections that foster respect and compassion instead. Self-centeredness, though often unintentional, can drive people away and foster negative feelings. It creates an environment where others feel undervalued, unseen, or excluded. At its core, self-centeredness is the act of focusing excessively on oneself, on personal achievements, struggles, or desires, while neglecting the perspectives and needs of others. While it is natural to care for oneself and take pride in individual success, an imbalance in this focus can strain relationships and lead to resentment. People thrive on connection and mutual respect. Relationships are built on the foundation of give and take, where both parties feel valued and understood. When someone is consistently self-centered, it disrupts this balance. Conversations become one-sided, where the self-centered person dominates discussions with their own stories, problems, or victories, leaving little room for others to share. Over time, this behavior can make others feel insignificant or as though their contributions are unworthy of attention. Self-centeredness also manifests in actions, not just words. For example, someone might prioritize their own goals at the expense of others' needs. In team settings, this can be particularly damaging. A person who takes credit for group achievements, disregards the opinions of teammates, or avoids shared responsibilities can quickly alienate those around them. Even in personal relationships, failing to consider the needs of a partner, friend, or family member can erode trust and affection. One of the reasons self-centeredness leads to dislike is that it clashes with the human desire for fairness and recognition. People want their efforts to be acknowledged, their voices to be heard, and their presence to be valued. When someone constantly shifts the focus to themselves, it denies others these essential experiences, creating a sense of imbalance and frustration. This can be particularly hurtful in situations where someone's accomplishments or struggles are ignored because a self-centered person redirects attention back to themselves. Moreover, self-centeredness can come across as a lack of empathy. When a person focuses solely on their own perspective, they may struggle to understand or acknowledge the feelings and experiences of others. For example, when someone shares a problem and the self-centered individual responds with how they've had it worse, it minimizes the original issue and dismisses the other person's emotions. This lack of empathy can make people feel invalidated and unimportant, further deepening the divide in relationships. In some cases, self-centeredness isn't intentional but stems from insecurity or a desire for validation. A person may focus on themselves because they fear being overlooked or feel the need to prove their worth. While this behavior may come from a place of vulnerability, it can still push people away if it becomes a pattern. Others may perceive it as selfishness or arrogance, even if the underlying intention is not malicious. Overcoming self-centeredness requires self-awareness and effort. It begins with recognizing the impact of one's actions and words on others. Asking questions and genuinely listening to the answers is a simple yet powerful way to show interest in others. Small acts of consideration, like checking in on someone's feelings, sharing credit for achievements, or making time for others, can go a long way in building stronger relationships. It's also important to strike a balance between self-care and selflessness. Caring for oneself is necessary and healthy, but it should not come at the expense of neglecting others. True confidence and self-worth allow a person to uplift those around them without feeling threatened or diminished. When people feel that they matter, they are more likely to respond with kindness, trust, and appreciation. On the other hand, when they perceive someone as self-centered, it creates barriers to connection and understanding. By shifting the focus outward and valuing others' experiences, it's possible to break the cycle of self-centeredness and foster relationships built on mutual respect and admiration. Dishonesty, whether through lies, half-truths, or omissions, is one of the most damaging behaviors in relationships. Trust serves as the foundation of all human connections, from friendships and romantic partnerships to professional relationships and societal bonds. When dishonesty enters the picture, it undermines this foundation, causing cracks that weaken the stability of the relationship, and in many cases lead to its eventual collapse. Trust is built over time through consistent and reliable actions. People come to trust one another when they feel confident that their words, feelings, and shared experiences are genuine and respected. Dishonesty, however, disrupts this process. Even a single lie can plant a seed of doubt, making others question whether past interactions were truthful and whether future ones can be trusted. Once trust is broken, it is incredibly difficult to rebuild, as the person who was deceived may remain guarded and skeptical, fearing further betrayal. Dishonesty destroys trust in several ways. First, it creates a sense of betrayal. When someone realizes they have been lied to, they often feel hurt and humiliated, especially if they had placed a great deal of faith in the person who deceived them. This emotional response is rooted in the feeling of being disrespected and devalued, as the dishonest act communicates a lack of regard for the other person's feelings and intelligence. Second, dishonesty breeds uncertainty. When lies are uncovered, they cast doubt on everything else the dishonest person has said or done. This uncertainty can lead to overthinking and anxiety as the deceived individual tries to determine what is real and what is not. In many cases, this mental and emotional turmoil is more damaging than the lie itself, as it creates an ongoing sense of instability and mistrust. Dishonesty also erodes respect. People admire and value honesty because it reflects integrity and moral character. When someone is caught lying, their credibility diminishes, and others may view them as unreliable or manipulative. This loss of respect can have far-reaching consequences, affecting not only personal relationships, but also professional opportunities and social standing. Additionally, dishonesty often has a ripple effect. Lies tend to grow as one lie leads to another in an attempt to cover up the original deception. This web of dishonesty becomes increasingly complex, making it harder to maintain the facade and more damaging when it eventually unravels. Moreover, when dishonesty is discovered, it can affect the relationships of those around the liar as well. For instance, friends or colleagues may begin to question their own judgment for trusting the dishonest person, leading to further strain and conflict. While dishonesty is often deliberate, it can sometimes stem from fear or insecurity. People may lie to avoid conflict, protect themselves from judgment, or gain approval. However, even when the intent is not malicious, the impact remains the same. The person who is deceived feels let down and betrayed, and the relationship suffers as a result. Rebuilding trust after dishonesty is possible but challenging. It requires genuine remorse, accountability, and consistent effort from the person who is dishonest. Apologies must be sincere, and actions must demonstrate a commitment to honesty moving forward. Transparency becomes essential as the deceived person needs reassurance that the behavior will not be repeated. However, even with these efforts, trust may never fully recover as the memory of the betrayal lingers. On the other hand, cultivating honesty from the start can prevent such damage. Being truthful, even when it is uncomfortable or inconvenient, shows respect for others and for oneself. It creates an environment of openness and mutual understanding where trust can flourish. Honesty also fosters self-respect, as it allows individuals to live authentically and align their actions with their values. In the end, dishonesty destroys trust because it violates the very essence of connection, the belief that we can rely on one another. By choosing honesty, even in difficult moments, we can preserve the integrity of our relationships and build bonds that are strong, enduring, and meaningful. Arrogance, a sense of superiority that dismisses the worth of others, is one of the most divisive traits a person can display. While confidence is an admirable and empowering quality, arrogance takes confidence to an extreme, where self-assurance turns into self-importance. This attitude not only alienates others, but also fosters resentment, undermines teamwork, and damages relationships, both personal and professional. At its core, arrogance stems from an exaggerated view of one's abilities, achievements, or knowledge. Arrogant individuals often believe they are better, smarter, or more deserving than those around them, and they convey this belief through their words, actions, and attitudes. This can take many forms, such as dismissing others' opinions, interrupting conversations to assert their own views, or belittling those they perceive as less capable. Such behaviors create an environment where others feel undervalued, leading to division and hostility. One of the primary reasons arrogance creates division is its impact on communication. Effective communication relies on mutual respect and a willingness to listen. When someone is arrogant, they often monopolize conversations. disregarding the input of others or dismissing differing perspectives as irrelevant or inferior. This one-sided dynamic stifles dialogue, making others feel excluded and unimportant. Over time, people may stop engaging altogether, leading to a breakdown in communication and a widening divide. Arrogance also undermines collaboration, which is essential in many aspects of life. Whether in a workplace, a community project, or a group of friends, successful collaboration requires recognizing and valuing each member's contributions. Arrogant individuals, however, tend to prioritize their own ideas and dismiss the efforts of others. This not only discourages participation, but also breeds resentment, as people feel their skills and insights are being ignored. The resulting lack of unity can cause projects to falter and relationships to deteriorate. Furthermore, arrogance creates a power imbalance. Arrogant individuals often position themselves as superior to others, whether intentionally or subconsciously. This dynamic can make others feel small, inadequate, or unworthy, which can be particularly damaging in hierarchical settings like workplaces or educational environments. Instead of fostering a culture of growth and mutual respect, arrogance establishes a competitive and toxic atmosphere, where people are more focused on proving their worth than on working together harmoniously. The divisive nature of arrogance is also evident in the way it affects personal relationships. Friendships, family bonds, and romantic partnerships thrive on equality and mutual appreciation. When arrogance enters these relationships, it creates an imbalance where one person's needs, achievements, or opinions are consistently prioritized over the others. This imbalance leads to frustration and emotional distance, as the less valued individual feels their contributions are overlooked or undervalued. In addition to alienating others, arrogance can also hinder personal growth. When someone believes they already know everything or are inherently better than others, they close themselves off to feedback and learning opportunities. This rigid mindset not only limits their development, but also reinforces the divide between themselves and others. People are less likely to offer help or advice to someone who seems dismissive or unapproachable, further isolating the arrogant individual. Overcoming arrogance requires self-awareness and a willingness to change. It begins with recognizing that no one is perfect or infallible and that everyone has strengths and weaknesses. Practicing humility is key. Acknowledging the value of others' contributions, being open to differing viewpoints, and showing appreciation for the efforts of those around you. Humility fosters respect, inclusivity, and connection, which are essential for bridging the divisions created by arrogance. Empathy is another powerful tool in combating arrogance. By considering others' feelings and perspectives, arrogant individuals can begin to see the impact of their behavior and understand the importance of treating others with respect and kindness. Empathy helps shift the focus from oneself to the collective good, promoting unity and cooperation. Ultimately, arrogance creates division because it prioritizes the self at the expense of others. By replacing arrogance with humility and empathy, it is possible to build relationships based on mutual respect and understanding, fostering a sense of belonging and shared purpose that unites rather than divides. Envy is a powerful and often destructive emotion that arises when someone perceives another's success, possessions, or qualities as a threat to their own self-worth. Unlike admiration, which can inspire growth and positive change, envy breeds resentment and negativity. It often serves as a root cause for dislike or hatred, as individuals project their insecurities and frustrations onto those they perceive as having an advantage. This dynamic can damage relationships, erode trust, and create a toxic environment where connections are strained or severed. At its heart, envy is fueled by comparison. In a world where achievements, appearances, and lifestyles are constantly on display, whether in real life or on social media, people often find themselves measuring their own lives against others. When someone sees a peer thriving in an area where they feel they are struggling, it can trigger feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. These emotions can quickly spiral into resentment toward the person who seems to embody what they lack. One of the reasons envy leads to hatred is the way it distorts perception. When someone is envious, they often focus solely on the positive aspects of the other person's life, ignoring their challenges or struggles. This selective perspective creates an illusion of perfection, which only deepens the sense of disparity. The envious individual may begin to view the other person's success as undeserved or unfair, leading to feelings of bitterness and hostility. Envy also has a way of amplifying insecurities. Instead of addressing their own fears, shortcomings, or unmet goals, an envious person might externalize their frustrations, blaming the object of their envy for their unhappiness. For instance, if someone feels insecure about their career progress, they might resent a colleague who has achieved greater success, even if that colleague's achievements are the result of hard work and dedication. This misplaced anger can lead to strained relationships, as the envious person begins to see the other as a rival or antagonist rather than a peer. In some cases, envy can lead to actions that further damage relationships. The envious individual might engage in gossip, sabotage, or passive-aggressive behavior in an attempt to diminish the other person's accomplishments. These actions often stem from a desire to level the playing field or regain a sense of superiority. However, such behaviors rarely bring satisfaction and instead perpetuate a cycle of negativity, harming both parties involved. On the other hand, being the target of envy can also be challenging. People who are envied may feel isolated or unfairly judged, as their successes are often overshadowed by the resentment of others. They may feel the need to downplay their achievements or avoid sharing their joys, fearing backlash or hostility. This dynamic can create a sense of loneliness, as the envied individual struggles to maintain connections with those who view them with envy. Breaking the cycle of envy requires self-awareness and intentional effort. For those who feel envious, it's important to recognize that envy is often a reflection of one's own insecurities rather than the fault of the other person. Taking time to identify the underlying causes of envy, such as unmet goals or feelings of inadequacy, can help shift the focus inward, allowing for personal growth and healing. Practicing gratitude is also a powerful antidote to envy. By acknowledging and appreciating one's own blessings and achievements, it becomes easier to celebrate the successes of others without feeling threatened. For those who are the target of envy, maintaining humility and empathy can help diffuse tension. Acknowledging the hard work and struggles behind their successes and showing genuine kindness toward others can help foster understanding and reduce feelings of resentment. Additionally, building supportive relationships where open communication is encouraged can create a safe space for addressing and resolving conflicts stemming from envy. Ultimately, envy as a cause of hatred is rooted in the universal human tendency to compare and compete. By choosing self-reflection over blame, gratitude over resentment, and connection over division, it is possible to transform envy into an opportunity for growth and strengthen the bonds that unite us. Strategies for growth are essential for individuals striving to improve their personal, professional, or emotional well-being. Growth is not a one-time achievement, but a continuous journey of self-discovery and improvement. Whether aiming to build new skills, overcome challenges, or foster better relationships, effective strategies can provide the framework needed to move forward. Growth requires deliberate action, self-awareness, and a commitment to embracing change, even when it feels uncomfortable. The first step toward growth is setting clear and realistic goals. Without a sense of direction, it's easy to feel lost or stagnant. Goals act as a roadmap, guiding individuals toward their aspirations and helping them measure progress. These goals should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. For example, instead of saying, I want to improve my grades, a student might set a goal like, I will increase my math score by 10% by the end of the semester by practicing for 1 hour daily. Such clarity transforms vague ambitions into actionable steps. Another crucial strategy is cultivating a mindset of lifelong learning. Growth thrives on curiosity and the willingness to explore new ideas and perspectives. This can be achieved through formal education, workshops, reading, or even informal conversations with knowledgeable individuals. The ability to learn from every experience, both successes and failures, is a hallmark of those committed to personal development. Lifelong learners view challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities to gain insight and strengthen their skills. Self-awareness is another cornerstone of growth. Taking the time to reflect on one's strengths, weaknesses, and values is essential for meaningful progress. Regular self-reflection allows individuals to understand their behaviors, motivations, and emotions more deeply. Tools like journaling, meditation, or seeking feedback from trusted peers can help uncover areas for improvement while reinforcing a sense of purpose. Self-awareness also encourages accountability, as individuals can recognize and address patterns of behavior that may hinder their development. Embracing change is vital for growth, as stagnation often results from resistance to new experiences. Change can be intimidating, as it often involves stepping out of one's comfort zone and facing the unknown. However, growth rarely occurs within the boundaries of familiarity. By gradually exposing themselves to new challenges, individuals can build resilience and adaptability. For instance, someone looking to advance professionally might take on a leadership role in a project even if they feel uncertain about their abilities. With time and effort, these experiences contribute to increased confidence and competence. Developing strong relationships is another key strategy for growth. Surrounding oneself with supportive, inspiring, and encouraging people can create an environment conducive to progress. Mentors, peers, and role models provide valuable insights, guidance, and motivation. Constructive feedback from trusted individuals can illuminate blind spots and help refine one's approach to challenges. Additionally, nurturing empathy and strong communication skills can enhance personal connections, creating a network of trust and mutual support. Consistency and discipline are fundamental to sustaining growth. While motivation provides the initial spark, discipline ensures ongoing effort, even when motivation wanes. Developing habits that align with one's goals, such as maintaining a study schedule, exercising regularly, or practicing mindfulness, lays the foundation for long-term success. It's important to recognize that growth is a gradual process, and small, consistent actions often yield the most significant results over time. Resilience is also critical for overcoming setbacks and continuing on the path of growth. Challenges, failures, and disappointments are inevitable, but they do not have to derail progress. Instead, they can serve as valuable learning experiences that build strength and determination. Resilient individuals view obstacles as temporary and approach them with problem solving and a growth-oriented mindset. That's resilience, guys. They understand that failure is not the opposite of success, but a stepping stone toward it. Finally, celebrating progress, no matter how small, is essential for staying motivated and inspired. Recognizing achievements, even incremental ones, reinforces a sense of accomplishment and boosts confidence. It also provides an opportunity to reflect on how far one has come, fueling the determination to keep moving forward. In the end, growth is a dynamic and ongoing process that requires intention, effort, and a willingness to embrace change. By setting clear goals, maintaining self-awareness, building strong relationships, and practicing resilience, individuals can cultivate a path of continuous improvement and fulfillment.